All right, let's talk about She-Hulk episode 4. For anyone joining us for the first time ever, this is the segment where I talk about the new episode of She-Hulk and what I liked about it and why it's actually not garbage, despite what literally everyone else is saying. I was watching a review. There's one reviewer I love watching, just how wrong he is, and he drags his wife on, and she's so wrong. It's just fucking hilarious all around. I've been, quite frankly, enjoying the season. It's been very middle of the road in terms of quality, but it's not trying to be an Emmy award-winning show. It's not, quite frankly. So let's get into it. We got a bunch of things to talk about. I don't want this to take 25 minutes again. We got many a thing to talk about. The first and foremost thing I want to talk about is a character that they introduced called Donnie Blaze, not Johnny, and why I think he might be important to the MCU and to She-Hulk. More of the MCU. So Donnie Blaze is a party magician. Does cheap tricks. You know, the standard card tricks. Is this your card? The pulling the coin up behind your ear, you know, making flowers appear out of a stick, that kind of stuff, right? They show him performing a show and everyone hates it. Literally everyone hates it. Everyone's falling asleep. So he pulls up a woman on stage and he takes out a sling ring after some encouragement from his assistant. Most reviewers are whiny shits shouting into the void for attention. Yes, agreed. And I'm the one shouting back, telling them to shut the fuck up because they're so wrong. So he gets a sling ring out and he opens up a portal. We'll find out a bit later that Donnie Blaze was actually trained at the Kamar-Taj. He's actually a sorcerer. So he opens up a portal into hell and the woman steps into it. She comes out at Wong's house. She comes out at Wong's house, who's in the middle of watching an episode of this, or about to watch an episode of The Sopranos, spoils the episode for him, and informs Wong that she got out by making a deal with a goat, a demon goat. That goat's name is Jake. We'll learn this later. Jake kind of sounds like Jack. Jack Scratch? Question mark? No, hold that thought. Mephisto theorists, I don't want to fucking hear it right now. I don't want to hear it. This is not a thing. It's just a J name. It's not a thing. It's not a thing. It's just his name. All right, moving on. Moving on, please. Ugh, let me get a little stretched out here. Donnie has an assistant that gentleman's name is Cornelius P. Willows. I definitely don't have it written over there. Don't worry about it. And is he the assistant? They make it seem like he is for a minute there. But we see a little bit later. Here's basically what happens. Wong gets angry that The Sopranos was spoiled for him, goes to sue Donnie so he can't perform these tricks anymore, using magic, altering reality for party tricks. He He goes to She-Hulk. She-Hulk and Wong go over to Donnie's place, where Cornelius is sitting in the important chair. I'm going to call it the important chair. And Donnie is standing next to him like an apprentice. That's how you spell apprentice, Greg. Come on. Right? That's how you spell apprentice. Is it 1P or 2P's? I'll never know. Because I am an idiot. Nope, I got it right again. Cornelius seems to know a bit more than he lets on. Is Cornelius Mephisto? I'm going to stop you right there. No, he's not. He's not. Just because he knows quite a bit about magic, just because he might be a little smarter, doesn't mean he's Mephisto. All right, can we get it out of our system, please? Thank you. I appreciate it. Let's move on. Let's get off of this Mephisto vibe, okay? All right. Move on. Jeez. One track mind, everyone. One track mind. Here's why I think Donnie is important. Nothing to do with Mephisto. Donnie Blaze does sound like Johnny Blaze. For anyone who doesn't know, this is going to be Marvel 101. Johnny Blaze is Ghost Rider in the comics. The first one, before anyone bites my face off. The names being this similar cannot be, absolutely not be, a coincidence. How do you spell coincidence? Is that how you spell coincidence? Fucking 10 out of 10 with spelling today. Cannot be. So here's what I'm thinking. Let's just bring this page down here. My thoughts. 1. Ghost Rider. No, sorry. Johnny Blaze is running around somewhere in the MCU. 2. It's possible, it's possible that Johnny made his deal with Mephisto the devil, wink, wink, during the blip. The 5-year gap after Thanos snapped. 3. If number 2 occurred, then Donnie, let's say it was Donnie, heard about it and is using a name that sounds similar enough to Johnny Blaze that he can be associated by someone who doesn't know any better. Now, what I mean by that is he's getting the branding with being legally distinct enough, right? If it's public knowledge that Ghost Rider is Johnny Blaze in the MCU, which it could be, it certainly could be, then he's trying to bite off some of that notoriety. It would be like if who's a top streamer that I know, that I personally know? It would be like if I named myself Pumpkin Greg or Greg Woto, and I'm trying to get, or Table Greg or Greg Store, like, or if Silence Knight called himself Booster Knight. it's trying to bite off some of that notoriety, right? That people will be like, oh, he's associated with him by looking at the name, even though he isn't. So I don't think that Donnie is Johnny. That I saw that kicking around a little bit. I think that he's just using this name. I think what's important about him, first and foremost, is that it kind of, in a roundabout way, confirms that Johnny Blaze is running around. Like, why else use the term Blaze for magic and the dark dimension and stuff like that, right? In the story, it's so closely tied together with the Doctor Strange mythos. If you're not going to go with that that aspect of the MCU, right? Could have been literally any other name. They chose Donnie Blaze very specifically. And it could just be a fun nod or whatever, but Marvel does like to hide these little things in their properties every once in a while. So I wouldn't be entirely surprised if this was some sort of wink and a nod to maybe an announcement at D23 tomorrow. I think tomorrow is supposed to be the big Marvel stuff. I certainly hope Cavill's not playing Johnny Blaze. That would be terrible. I love the guy, but I don't think that would be a good cast. Certainly hope not. There was an argument that I heard about it was from that fucking YouTuber that I can't stand, that I watch his shit. I watch literally. This is what happened. This is a fucking YouTuber. Let me tell you about this guy. I was telling my wife about it. She didn't give a shit. Let me tell you, you all might find this pretty funny. He was yelling about how bad this show was. Maybe about 10 minutes into a 45-minute review. No, sorry. 5 minutes into a 45-minute review, he starts asking his audience, if you guys like it, then I'll keep on watching, but I don't want to watch it. But if you he's literally saying, if you give me the views, I'll continue to watch it, but I don't like it. And I'm just like, just fucking stop watching it. Just stop watching it. And then 10 minutes into a 45-minute review, he starts talking about the Rings of Power and how bad that show is. My guy, my close personal friend, whatever the hell your name is, you don't have to fill time on your own review. And it's not even live. This is all going to be live. I'm not going to edit this up at all. This is all going. You'll see me typing, looking up typos. You'll see everything. I don't care. You edited this. Take out the Ring of Power shit. It's not pertinent to the video. I stopped watching. Anyways, this guy and his wife were talking about this thing. They made a point. They made one very valid point that I agree with. One point that I agree with was silly. The point that I agree with silly. That's for more proper English. Why did Wong want to sue Donnie when it's his job to stop all, I guess it's part of his job to stop all unauthorized magic from being used? He's the Sorcerer Supreme. Dylan, what's up? He's the Sorcerer Supreme. This is kind of his job. If it's not his job, bring a trainee out. Maybe it's their job. It's certainly not She-Hulk's job. But it's a way to get him in. I see it. This is like the one thing, and I was just like, why? But I get it. I can overlook this. Whatever. They made another point that I was like, this is the point where I was like, you're idiots. How do you not see this? So, in the beginning of She-Hulk, Jen refuses to accept her Hulk self, let's call it. Right? She wants nothing to do with this. And even says she'll never Hulk out. In this episode, in this series so far, in last episode, what are we seeing? One, Jen is okay with being She-Hulk if it means career advancement. And two, in this episode, Jen creates a Tinder profile to very little to no success. Then she creates a She-Hulk Tinder profile at the advisement of her best friend. I don't remember her best friend's name. It doesn't matter at this point to me. She does that. And she has wild success in the dating scene. She meets every single negative male archetype you could ever dream of on these dates. The self-absorbed, overconfident entrepreneur, quote unquote, the guy who's essentially unemployed but refuses to accept it and refuses to get a job. The nerd, basically us, who are just like, what, you did what? And just like enamored with her story, her adventures, everything, but says the wrong thing, ultimately kind of showing that maybe they don't see, we'll get to her, Adam, maybe they don't see her as the person, the guy who just wants to outflex a Hulk. And finally, the last one, who is sensitive, seemingly perfectly normal and nice doctor, who turns out to be a complete sub and a complete bottom, and only is interested in her because she's She-Hulk. And the moment he sees Jen in human form, he cannot get out of there fast enough. He cannot. What they're doing essentially is they're trying to set up her having a crush on Daredevil, is what they're doing. If you haven't guessed this already, they're going to be similar professions. They're both lawyers, just different side. Prosecution versus defense probably is what's going to happen. They're both superheroes, but she's hot in her human form too. Yes, but it's not a matter. This is what I took out of that. For him, it wasn't a matter of hot or not. He liked the mask. This is what I want to get into. She-Hulk, the form, is, what's the word? An allegory? An allegory? Is that the right word? I'm an idiot. Don't take me out of this. And there's two L's in allegory, you fucking piece of... It's not an allegory. That's not what I want. Is an illusion? To what's the word I want to use for this? I'm gonna stop trying to be I'm gonna stop trying to be smart about this. She-Hulk form is Jen wearing makeup. It's a mask. It's what we all look like. It's what we all act like when outside versus when inside. We all have two sides to us. We all have who we present ourselves to be, and we all have who we actually are. And then there's might be more aspects to it, but we're going to keep it as simple as that. He wanted snoo. That's simple as that, right? So here's the thing, right? Jen is like, well, they should like me for me in employment. They didn't, but they liked her for She-Hulk. They liked her for who this outward view of her. I'm explaining this terribly, but so she goes, okay, fine. Yeah, I have a job. I can eat. I can survive. Fine. So I'll just do this thing. And then she goes on the dating pool and she tries to be herself and no one likes it. from a viewpoint, right? So she goes, fine, I'll try this mask on. And the second she lets her guard down, it's essentially the wall that we all have built up as well around us. And the second she lets that down for this guy, he jets, right? He is just fucking turboed out of there. That's what they're doing with this episode. So this review that I saw, they were like, she doesn't like being She-Hulk in episode 1, and now she's just using it for personal gain. Oh, what is that? That's terrible writing. It's like, that's not terrible writing. That's actually, I would argue, the only good writing in this entire episode, this entire season so far. Did she catfish the guy? You can't really catfish him though. If you have a secondary form, is that catfishing? So it's who she is. It's one of the versions of her, right? I don't think is it catfishing? I don't know. What do you think? I don't think so. But anyways, it's very smart. What they're showing is not just for women, but for men too. Like, we all have this. We all do. We all, like, not all, I'm speaking in generalizations, obviously, which is no on the internet. But anyways, right? We all kind of put on a better version of ourselves when you're interacting with other people. And then when the people you get closer to, you kind of drop that a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. So you're really comfortable, and then you can kind of just be yourself, right? So, you know, Gav thinks that it is catfishing because he wanted the She-Hulk version, not the human version, right? But you have to take the good with the bad with someone. And I'm not saying the Jen version is bad. I'm not saying the Hulk version is good, but you have to take, when you date a person and you want to be in a relationship with it. This guy was like, I want to be in a relationship. I'm tired of dating. I want to do this. And he was saying all the right things, right? And it wasn't in an insincere way, I might add. He seemed quite sincere about it. But he wasn't into her in a normal look. And that's fine, right? It's a one day, it's a one night stand. He's not contractually obligated to like her in her Gen form. But it definitely makes him a fucking sub, if you ask me. If you ask me. But I thought this was very interesting. This whole thing of, you know, wearing makeup in quotations, essentially. The social / exterior you, sorry, my pizza is repeating on me, versus who you really are on the inside. And it's interesting. This is interesting because Hulk is the exact opposite, right? He's the exact opposite. Bruce Banner is the mask, is the She-Hulk, is the wearing makeup for his Hulk. He is inside a very angry individual. He even says so in the first Avengers movie. That's my sacred cap. I'm always angry. Right? It's flipped. And this is, I think, a fairly brilliant way. I use the term brilliant lately. Fairly brilliant way to display just how different She-Hulk is from Hulk. And it's not good versus bad. It's not better versus worse. It's just different. It's just different. And I like that. I thought that was really cool. I thought that was super interesting. Again, very mid-tier show. This one is climbing the ranks for me. I think I still like Ms. Marvel a bit better, but in terms of the more recent shows, I do like this much more than Moon Knight. It's not trying to be something it's not. It's very obvious. It's supposed to be very tongue-in-cheek. It's very meta. It tells you its flaws up front. And if you don't accept the show, if a show tells you, hey, this is going to be a guest star of the week kind of show. Hey, this show is going to be a comedy. We're breaking the fourth wall. They're telling you as they're breaking the fourth wall. And you come at me saying, you come out You come at anyone on the show that works on the show, anyone at all that's saying, hey, why is this not like Better Call Saul? Hey, this is dumb. Hey, another reason here. I don't fucking know. Hey, sexism. You're all idiots. I'm sorry. The show is doing exactly what it set out to do. It's taking pot shots at toxic masculinity and it's laughing along the way. And now it's kind of showing us the differences between Hulk and She-Hulk because everyone was yelling about it. It's showing that She-Hulk is not better than Hulk because everyone was yelling about it. And Adam brought up a very interesting point. I want to talk about her before we end this discussion of episode 4. A little character whose name is Madison. I'm going to be 110% honest with everyone. I love Madison. I fucking love Madison. If you in case you couldn't, where's that? I'm losing my goddamn mind. There it is. In case you couldn't, you're getting old, by the way. When you have to fucking look at the fucking goddamn keyboard. She is that always drunk woman. Loves to party. We've all met. We've Valley Girl. Then quotations. We've all met and / or known her. But this is what I like about her. She's inclusive. Quick to make friends. Trusting. She's a very positive. She's dumb as a brick. Do not get me wrong. Probably because she's drunk all the time. But she forms this friendship with Wong that I really liked. And I would love just one of those. Remember they did that Marvel one-shot Hail to the King? It was like 5 or 10 minutes. Remember that? They did it for the Mandarin, for Trevor from Iron Man 3. I would love just that with Wong and Madison. I would fucking kill. I wouldn't kill for that. I would appreciate it. I would really appreciate it. I think those two play off each other so well. Wong being so serious all the time and Madison being the exact opposite. I just love those pairings. I love the buddy opposite pairings in fiction. I'm a sucker for it, just as I'm a sucker for a redemption arc. But I think these positive traits are going to round her out. Everyone's saying she's two-dimensional, and she is at the surface level. You peel back a layer of an onion, you'll find these traits inside of her. And I think this is what's going to make a good show right there. That. And plus that post-credit scene at the end where she's like picking away these layers at Wong. So she's so trusting that also she'd be watching. That's what I'm saying, Dylan. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying is give me a 5 to 10 minute. That's it. Once in a while, not a series, not a movie, a one shot, maybe 2-3 shots. I don't want a series. I just want like a little bit more. What she's able to do with Wong was very interesting in the post-credit scene, and I hope everyone watched it. I hope everyone saw what I saw in it, and it's that her trusting nature is infectious, right? So she's watching. What is she watching? She's watching. What's the name of that show? It's not Parenthood. This Is Us. She's watching This Is Us with Wong, and she's asking him what alcoholic beverages he's had. And you know she's not expecting him to say anything. You know that she's like, oh, she's maybe kind of thinking like, oh, he probably doesn't drink much. He's a Sorcerer's Supreme, like he doesn't have time. And when she asks him what his favorite drink is, and he responds with gin and tonic, her fucking reaction. Let me pull it up real quick. We're gonna risk the DMCA for this. We're gonna risk it. because I want to show you all this. I didn't think I was going to show you all this. I want to show you all this because you've all seen it, but I just need to see it again. I'm sorry. I very much enjoyed this. No! Get back here! Oh my God, Disney Plus, you're killing me. Forget it. We're not watching it. We're not watching it. Forget it. She has this little celebration dance, right? She does a little wongers. You bet. Like right that and that right there. She got her hooks inside of him. She's now best friends with wongers. He now reluctantly includes her. So here we go. Ready? She gets an in with the Sorcerer Supreme. Gets this in from a vice, alcohol, right? Seems to enjoy Wong's suffering from spoiling shows he is currently watching. Manipulates Wong to forgive her and hang out more. Let me ask you this, chat. Who would benefit the most from a friendship / manipulating the Sorcerer Supreme